All right, welcome back to Calc 2. So hopefully this will conclude our numerical integration section here. The last couple of questions are, honestly, they're spreadsheet questions. They're not, they're rough. They're like lab problems, okay? So let me go ahead and share my screen here with us. Okay, and let's have a look at what we're doing. All right, so it says find the exact value, right? We've got some values here. What we're going to do is find the exact value for this. And then the goal of this problem, okay, is just kind of see like what happens to the error as your n increases. Okay, so we're going to use this to study how large n must be for the error to be small. That's generally what you're going to want to do, because you want a big enough n that your error is going to be small, but you don't want to go and say, well, 1 million, like that's good. Like it's going to take a long time to calculate. You really don't want to go to something like that every time you need something. So what guess do you have? What is a good value for the n you're going to use? Clearly, when you have a delta x of 1, it's not really going to be a great approximation. But how far down do you have to go before before you get a reasonable answer with as little errors you want to tolerate? Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to take a look at just value this and see what happens. Okay, so what we have, all right, so this is a fairly easy integral to deal with, right? We have integral between 0 and 1. We have 3x to the 7th dx. We'll go ahead and integrate this thing. So this is 3x to the 8th over 8. Okay, 8s are always nice because they terminate. Okay, and we're going to go from 0 to 1 here. Okay, that's an 8 up here, by the way. So we plug this in. We have 3/8, right? We have 1 to the 8th minus 0 to the 8th. It's fairly straightforward there. So we're going to end up with 3/8. Okay, the decimal, I think this is 0.325, but let's double check. Okay, oops, I want to go with my calculator here. We have clear 3 divided by 8, 375. Glad I checked. All right, so let's clear that up, and over here somewhere. Okay, so here we go, 0.375. All right, so that's the goal we're looking for. All right, so we'll say 0.375, and that's all we can do at this point, so we'll just say check. All right, nice work, very good. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to try this as Simpson's rule. I believe the other problem is with trapezoid rule. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to use n equals 4, 8, 16, and 32. All right, this does not look like a fun thing. All right, so we're going from 0 to 1. All right, so my b minus a is going to be 1, because it's 1 minus 0. Okay, and our n is going to be somewhere between 4, 8, 16, and 32. Okay, and what we're going to have to do is deal with all of this thing going on here. All right, so I'm going to use a spreadsheet to help do this, because there's no way I really want to do this by hand. Okay, so I'm just going to type in some notes here. Fx equals 3x 7th. Now this is not going to calculate anything because I didn't put a formula in here. Okay, not the way Excel likes it. It's just there to kind of remind me. Okay, and then we'll just do a kind of n equals 4. Okay, so actually, what we're going to do is we'll just have this 4 here as a line. Okay, so what we're going to do is 1 minus 0 divided by 4. That's not going to be so bad. So we're just going to start from 0. Okay, actually, let's do it this way. B minus a over n. So we have 1 divided by 4. Oops. How about plus 1 divided by 4? Okay. All right, that sometimes happens. I don't really know how to deal with the fact that we want it to be a number. The format, control 1, and we're just going to say this is a number. That's what we really meant. And decimal places we want 4, I think. Okay. Let's see if it, there you go, 0.2500. Okay, that's my step. Okay, what I want to do is I want to go from 0, and then we're going, this will be helpful for later. Okay, so these will be my x's. So let's do it this way. Delete, I'll just say x. Okay. No. Okay, that's what I wanted. Okay, so we're going to start from 0. Okay. This could stay left justified. That way I know the numbers. And what we're going to do, okay, I think I know there's other ways to do this, okay, but the way I used to do all of this was to say I need a series. This is this button here. It's used to be called fill, okay, but we're going to do a series. Don't forget to set it to columns, otherwise it'll spill it out horizontally. You don't want to do that. We're going to state step value is 0.25. That's my 1 divided by 4. Okay, stop value is going to be at 1, and it should just give us this value here. Okay, this is going to be very useful when we get to doing like 16s and 32s. Okay, you don't want to type all those in. So we have y. Okay, so this is going to be plus. That's how you make. You can either do equals or plus. Either way, for Excel to make a formula. Okay, we're going to say 3 times this number raised to the 7th power. This should be 0. Okay, and all we're going to do, Control C and Control V, and that will give us all of the numbers between these two values. Okay, I'm going to make myself a little weights column, so it's going to be 1, 4, 2, 4, 1. We get a little bit more. I'll show you an easy way to kind of put that in there so you don't have to sit there and 4, 1, or 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2. Okay, and this is going to be weight times f of x here, weight times y. Just put a y in here, weight times y. Okay, so we're just going to say plus, okay, or equals this number times that number. Okay, so we're just multiplying the weight times the y. And again, I'll Control C, Control V. I know there's a way to drag it, but I'm old school, so that's what I do. Okay. What was my b minus a divided by n? Well, we could wait on that. So the last thing I really want to do now is just sum up. So equals sum. Okay. Do that, and we're just going to add these up. Okay. And then what are we doing here? We are doing 1 minus 0 divided by n times 1/3. Okay. So we're going to multiply this by, so plus or that times parentheses. Oops, I want times. So times parentheses b minus n, 1 minus 0, and then divided by, right, 4 times 3, so 12. All right. And that is what our first acceptance is. It's my first, when n is equal to 4, that's what we're supposed to get. Okay. So I'm going to collect these in a little bit. Okay. But let me take us through a couple more here. So here's our x, here's our y, here's our w. Okay. So my x starts at 0. Okay, what's the next one they wanted us to do? N equals 8. Okay, so n equals 8. We'll just say continue here. Okay, so for 4, okay, we're just going to type this in what we got here. So it's going to be 4. We got a point, or 0.387. How many decimal places did I want here? Round to 7 decimal places. Oh my goodness. All right, so Here we go. Again, control 1. Okay. For our number, we want to round to 7 decimal places. Okay. And if it doesn't come out to where you like it, you could always just click the column and then it comes in here. Okay. I wonder if I can control C this number and put it in here. I doubt it, but you never. Oh, look at that. It worked. Okay. So that's how I did for that, was just grab it from Excel and put it into this value here. And in the error, okay, so this is my value. And then the error is plus this number minus, where's my actual value here? We said it was point, I didn't write it down. I should have. 0.375, right? That was our thing. And we're just going to take this number here, and that's going to be our error. So control C, control V. Again, it's absolute value. So if it comes out to be negative, just make it positive. Okay. And then we're just going to continue doing this for all of them. Okay. This will be n is equal to 8. Okay. So what's my step size? It's 1. It's right. It's plus 1 minus 0. That's our right. That's our A to B. Divided by. Oops, I don't want that one. I want that one. Divided by 8. Okay. So 0.125. Okay. I'm going to go here. We're going to go ahead and say fill. This one's fill. We're going to make a series. Okay. We're going to make it a column. Otherwise, it'll go horizontal. We don't want to do this. The step value was 0.125. Step value A to B is 1. And we'll just type that in. And there we go. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say, well, we need this number. Okay. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to say plus 3 times this number raised to the 7th power. All right. By the way, this would never be a quiz question. This is insane. Okay, you need a thing to do this. Well, that's clearly not right. Plus 3 times G7 raised to the 7th power. Okay, I guess I didn't. Okay, so control C, control V. That looks a lot better. Okay. So we're going to put our weights in. This is 1, 4, 2, 4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy this. Control C. Come on. Control C. Go down here. Control V. And then I'll just finish it off at the end here. So 1, 4, 2, 4, 2. Okay, that should have worked a little bit better. The idea is you want to grab, 4242 and then copy it to the next spot. Okay. So again, we're going to multiply the weight times the Y value. Okay. That'll take care of the 4 times the particular value or not. Okay. So there's our 424242. Okay. What is the first number we have to deal with? Right? It's that B minus A over N, or B minus A over 3N. So why don't we do this? We'll say plus 1 minus 0 divided by 3 times 8 in this case. Okay. So we'll be able to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to sum up this column, because that's my weights. That's my values that we had in the sum thing. Okay, so we're going to sum. And then, again, there is a lot of different ways to do this. So don't think like it must be done this way or else. Like that's not happening. Okay. And then we're just taking as plus this guy times that guy. And that's our value. Okay. So we're going to take this thing minus 0.325. That's our, or 375, right? 375. Okay. Again, absolute value of the error. So if it was negative, we just change it to be positive. Okay. And all I'm going to do is copy this number. Okay. We're going to put it in for 8. Okay. And then we're going to go back here and I'm going to copy this number and we're going to put it in here for my error. Okay. That's how we're getting these numbers. Okay. Next one is 16. Okay. So let's just go over and hit 16 here. So n is now 16. All right. So we're going to start with 0. Actually, let's go with that. We have right, plus 1 minus 0 divided by n is 16 in this case. Okay. So what we're going to do, copied it, and I'm going to go to my fill value here, series column. Okay. I copied the 1/16, but I'm going to go ahead and, oh, it doesn't let you do that. All right, we have to type this thing in. So this is 0.0625. You don't need a leading 0 there. Again, stop value is 1. And then say OK. Let's see if that works out. It looks like it did. Okay. So what I'm going to do is say, well, plus 3 times this number raised to the 7th power. Okay. And I'm going to copy it. And I did a control arrow down that likes to go to the end of the thing, and then shift control up, and I'm just going to copy. Okay, again, lots of other ways to do this. This is just the way that I did it. Okay, so we're just going to do that. And now our weights are 1, 4, 2, 4, 2. And all I'm going to do is just copy this, Control C, Control V. And what I'm going to do next, I'm going to copy this, Control C, Control V, and we're just going to modify the last one. Okay, so last one was 1, and we're not going to worry about the rest. Okay, we'll just delete this off. And then we're just going to plus the value times the weight. And again, Control C, go all the way down, that's Control down arrow, and then Shift Control up arrow will copy all of that stuff to that range. Okay, and again, there are other ways to do this. Okay, now we have to add all this stuff up. So plus sum, plus sum. We're just going to add all of these guys. Okay, done. All right, so that's my value here. Now we got to multiply this by b minus a, all divided by 3n. Okay, so my b minus a, that's 1. Actually, so you have to do, if you want to do a calculation, you have to say equals or plus. Okay, divided by 3 times n, right? So that's going to be 3 times 16. All right, and that's going to be what I have to multiply this thing by. So we're going to go here, we're going to say plus this thing times, oops, let's go up here, we get this one. You can always, like, there's a little bar, don't point at it, right? There's a little bar right up here to tell you what your formula is going to be. So you can always double check that. If I wanted to make a slightly better view here, I guess I could scroll out a little bit. Okay, so I can see what's going on. Okay, and then this guy here, this is 0.375. And we're just going to go ahead and subtract. So plus this piece minus that piece. Oops, get rid of that. And that is our value there. I wonder if it'll take a decimal or a scientific notation for my my math lab. We'll find out. Okay. So what I'm going to do is the top of this thing. Oh, there it is. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get our estimate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, let's go ahead. We'll just do Control A. and then control 1, that's to format. Number, we are looking at 7 decimal places. Done. And oh, look at that, they changed it. So there's our number. So we're just going to go back here. Here's my 16. Control V for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And then this one will take this, our error value. That was the experimental minus the actual. So control C, control V. Okay. Oops, that's the value. I don't want that. I want this one to be in here. Always. Okay. And that's our next one. Okay. And then the last one is going to be for 32. I should cheap out and just say exercises left as a reader, as a reader, right? No, don't do that. So I should have put all these vertical, but I didn't. Okay. So again, we're going to need a count by, so that's going to be 1 over plus 1 over 32. Okay, just going to go here, click that and say, we're going to go with a number and we want 7 decimal places. Right. So again, here's our X values. Okay, here's our Y values, here's our W. Yeah, we're about right. So we're going to have 0, oops, 0. How about 0? Okay. Yeah, oh. Keep them kind of the same. Okay, and we're going to go to fill. Okay, and I know this is a clumsy way to go. And I remember having a discussion with somebody about spreadsheets, and they said they're not very good because they're unique to everybody. Okay, so columns, trend value, right? This was 1 over 32 right here. So we're going to type in 0.031250. Our stop value is going to be 1. Okay, and hopefully that'll, see, there we go. So all the values we want. So plus 3 times this number. So we're just going to click that or type that over. Raised to the 7th power. That's 3x to the 7th equals. Okay. Control C, down, up, control V. Okay. Again, all I did here, okay, to get around, control arrow down takes you to the end of the list. That's why I put it over here, because it takes you to the end of the list. Okay, and then shift control up copies to that region. Okay, that we're not dragging numbers through 32 spots. You don't want to do that. Okay, plus, this is, we don't need a plus for that. That's just 1, and then 4, 2, 4, 2. And all I'm going to do is copy this, control C, control V. All right, escape out of that. And then control C, control V, escape out of that. And then control C. Let's copy. Oops, I want to do that. There we go. V. And then down to the bottom, we'll just do a 1. Okay, because it has to end 4, 1 at the end. Okay, just a quick inspection, right? We've got 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, right? It just keeps breaking this 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2 business here. Okay, looks like it looks good. So we're going to take our weights times our Y value. Okay, so we're going to control C, go all the way down to the bottom, go over by 1. Oops. Shift control up. Boom, it's all there. Okay. And tell you what, instead of going all the way down to the bottom to keep looking things up, we could just do a sum here. Okay. So this is total. Okay, and we'll just do plus sum, SUM. add all of that up. Okay, now it's up here. And then we're going to times this, right? We're going to say b minus a over n, that is 1 over, actually, other way. If you don't do it that way, it'll just do a date. So plus 1 over, and that's 32 times 3, right? 1 over, or b minus a over n is 1 over 32, and then we have a times 3 in there. Okay, and then we're going to do plus this guy times the sum. There we go. And that is my value there. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and take plus this guy minus 0.375. That was the original value. Okay, and now I'm going to take these two and make sure that I've got, again, control 1. When I first got out of undergrad, I worked as a temp for a while, and they would give you tests to see whether or not you could use a spreadsheet and type everything else. If you touched the mouse to do anything, you lost points. So if you touched anything up here, you lost points. Okay. So for me, when they changed Excel and they changed this fill, like my Alt Edit fill didn't work anymore. But you know, and they would be nice about, like, you lost points. They would just, you know, you got a negative score. You don't pass, you don't work. So a little clumsy for setting this up. I could have been a little bit better about it, but there we go. Fingers crossed. Okay, fingers crossed, because I have no idea how precise they're going to be. If you saw the last video, the way they checked this on how much accuracy you needed, don't know. Okay, but we'll go ahead and try it. And of course not. Okay. So after all of that, I'm just going to go ahead and get the answer and see what's going on. So here we go. Here we go. Third one. Oh, did they lie to me? They 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, Excel lied to me. They were supposed to get a 7. And I went to a bit more. So we have to go through and make sure that that's not correct. All right. But except for this third answer here, it looks like I look like I'm pretty good. All right. So if I really wanted to do this one, because I got the values, like say, oh shoot, well, let me continue, and should be approximately constant. If we multiply b, part b times the errors for this thing, for p equals 1, 2, 3, you can find your probability of lowering the same values. Okay. Since I would have to go through and do this for, you know, another thing, we would just say b times n to the p. Okay, so errors in b, n to the p for p equals 1, 2, 3. Okay, so y equals the same power of n. So let's see here. This is going to be our 4, 16, 8, 32 kind of things here. Okay, that's the n. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to say, so let's go ahead and look at that. So I might compile the error somewhere. Okay, that might be a thing. So let's go ahead and let's go over here. Okay, errors. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and calculate this. So I'm going to grab this. Okay, now this is going to be a problem because, yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a problem because we're going to have to paste this in kind of a special way. You're going to have to paste special. Okay, and I don't want the formula. I just want the same numbers. Okay, paste values. Okay, all right. What is going on with this? All right. error. What I just want to copy this one. I'll bet I know. I copied the formula instead. So we're just going to paste, and I just want the values. Values. There we go. Okay. And then my error over here, Control C, Control V, except we're going to have to paste the value. All right. So that was for, this was for n is equal to 4. So let's go ahead and type that in. So we have n, we have 4, 8. Oops, I want 8. All right. And then we're gonna put a P here. Okay. Actually, we're gonna put a P up here. So P is gonna be, we're gonna have to come up with something. So like P is equal to 4 or something. Okay. And then what are we doing here? We're going with next one. So what was our error for 16? What was this guy? Control C. Again, we're going to paste our values only. Okay, n is equal to 16. And we had 32. What was our error? Put it up here. That's right. So our error here, this guy here, Control C. Let's go over. Paste a value there. This was 32. Okay. So I just assembled all of my errors. That's all I did here. Okay. And then what are they claiming? They are claiming that the error times n to the p is going to be approximately constant. So we're going to say multiply the errors in part B, that's why we assembled them, n to the p for p equals 1, 2, or 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's try let's just try 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say plus this thing, raise, oh, okay. We're going to take our error. So plus, this is our, here, watch. Error, this is the formula, times n raised to the p. All right. So I'm going to take my error, this line, times, and then our n, so it's that button, it's just the n, raised to the, we're just going to type in this guy right here, p. All right. And we're just going to copy, we can't just copy and paste because it's going to grab certain things all the time. So what I'm going to do for this v right here, just going to make it a constant. Okay. So now watch. Control V. Okay, look at that. It's almost all the same. So we'll just do F2. Okay, so that's the idea there. F2, just making sure we're getting the same thing. F2, looks like about the same thing. Okay, so we're not quite, getting everything we are here, but that looks pretty good as far as they seem to all be the same, right? 424, 3.48, 3.49, 3.42. This was a little bit less, okay, but that's going to happen. So I kind of like a factor of 4. Okay, so the answer for all values of n, I like p is equal to 4. But you know what? Let's double check it one time. So if I change this to a 5, look what happens. Everything changes. If I change it to a 3, everything changes. 2 changes. Okay, and they're not changing like by the same amount. Okay, so I kind of like 4. That was a lucky guess. Okay, 4s tend to be 2s and 4s for errors tend to be useful. Okay, and we'll check our answer for that. Excellent. Next question. So if I go back and do this one again, okay, and similar question, they're going to give us a different formula here. So what we're going to do for our spreadsheet is we're going to go back and change the formula, and everything will work out better, and we'll try to be better about our round off error. Okay, so I know that was awful. Okay, and we're wasting 1, but that's the kind of thing you want to do for this kind of lab work here. Okay, So they gave us 0.8 out of 1. I'm going to take it. I'm not going to redo this again and again until we get the right one. I would just say, okay, we're good. Okay. So that is how you do those questions. For trapezoid rule, it's going to be a little bit easier. For Simpson's rule, we had to mess with this 4-2 business, what we're doing here, right? But that's the kind of thing you want to deal with. Okay. So yeah, with maybe a little bit more forethought, a little bit of time planning this out. Okay, this might be a little bit neater, but this is the kind of thing you're going to want to do. All right. So I wish you the best of luck with that. but that's the kind of thing you want to do. Okay, this is definitely, especially with this one, definitely a spreadsheet formula. Okay, spreadsheet problem. Okay, again, I'm not going to ask you to do something like this on an exam because it's the ability for you to set up and organize a spreadsheet. Really, it's a lot of what this is. And my person I talked to about spreadsheets, like they're unique. Nobody else gets to follow them except for the person who made them. So do remember that. Okay. And good luck with setting this up and doing it. So hopefully it takes you less time. Okay. So thank you. That concludes numerical integration, and I will see you in the next one for integration techniques. All right. Very good.